Okay, welcome to the final Wednesday of the regular season. I bet you guys are really happy about that. We want to try to finish this thing off right. There's a lot going on this weekend in the league, and things can happen and all of that, and we need to take care of our business and play a good football game. It's really on us to play well. We want to do things the way we want to do it and look right, knowing next week's coming up or whatever happens after that. And so we're excited to see if we can put together a really good week of preparation. I thought it'd be only fitting that we go to Senator from Washington, Steve Rabel. You have your first question?
I'm just curious about how the 49ers have changed now that they've got the new quarterback in there since we saw them early in the season.
Yeah, no preparation. Isn't that well done? That's a real pro right there. That's real well. Next question. You don't get to ask questions from the back row. I was just kidding, man. I didn't think you would. What do you guys got?
How's Thomas Rawls doing?
He's going to practice today, and he feels good. He's looking forward to being able to work through the week. We've got to see what happens, but what bothered him is very slight, and he should be fine.
Bringing Casey Williams back, just kind of what went into that decision and hopes for him.
Well, the opportunity to bring a guy up to take Tyler's spot. Casey has had a terrific year with us, practicing with us, and we've been knowing that he would be the next guy up. He's ready to play football and has done just remarkably well throughout really the second half of the season being with us, and so it's a real logical move for us to make.
Do you have any update on how CJ Procise is coming along?
He's doing well. He's working out, and all. It's still a couple weeks away from a chance, and we don't know any more than that. We got to wait. It'll be those days of that week, 2 weeks from now, before we'll know what's going on.
Jermaine was talking after the game how this has kind of been a humbling year for him, some ups and downs. How have you seen him handle everything this season? Like a pro, I think he's been very much on point with his preparation and his attitude. He's always brought a great attitude every day. He did lose a little bit of playing time there for a while, but as it goes, he's back and going again. Fortunately, he's been very consistent, as he has been for years with us, and he's been a terrific Seahawk. He's just been in it the whole time, and wherever we put him, wherever we ask him to do, he's always been on point, and so he handled this well. But I do understand that we have talked about that a little bit just to make sure we're communicating about it, and he's put it in a good place.
What did you see on that offensive? I know we've asked you a bunch this year, but that offensive pass interference call with him last week, was there something he could have done differently on that?
He could have avoided a little more. Yeah, he was working his way out to kind of get in the way, and the guy ran into him. But it was something that two guys called. I didn't even question it when we sent in our stuff because I see what they saw. But he just needs to avoid better than they did. He tried, but he didn't get out of the way enough.
We seem to ask you a lot about injured running backs this year. Is it really a reminder of how fortunate you've been to have guys that have been sturdy and the perils of playing that position in the NFL?
Yeah, without question, there's been we have been on this topic a lot, and with Thomas being hurt last year and trying to come back, there was all the talk through the offseason and all of that, and then he comes back and he breaks his leg in the LA game, and kind of sets us right back into that mode again. CJ has been banged up throughout. He got back, looked great, and then went out. So it has been the topic of the year, I think, and been very specific to that position. It's a high risk position. There's no question. And some guys can just keep on going and chugging. And take a look at the Cardinals guy, David Johnson's had a great year, and he's been so active and had so many plays. And he continues to play at a tremendously high level. It's a great tribute to how he's conditioned and how he handles stuff, and good fortune as well. But yeah, we have been on that topic a lot.
It makes it very unpredictable then, like when you're starting to draft people. You draft 3 running backs and get very little.
Yeah,
There's no way to tell.
yeah. We made an effort to make it competitive at that spot, and unfortunately, CJ just missed a ton. He missed it all the way from the springtime, and you can see why we're so excited about him, and we all know that he's got great upside. We just got to get him right and get him back, and hope that he can get a good run going where he can start banging away. He did great his senior year at Notre Dame. He handled 1,200 yards of rushing and stuff, and so he did a really good job there. But for whatever reason, it didn't carry over.
Pete, do you think that the injuries at running back are the primary reason why the running game hasn't been where it's been in previous years, or do you think there are other issues?
No, I think we talked about this a lot. I think that probably the primary focus was Russell not being able to run for 8 weeks or something, or 9 weeks of the season. I think that was more of a factor when you add up the numbers for the year. Because we went on a run here, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks or something, where we were averaging 150 or something, or 130, whatever it was a game. We were back and going, numbers wise. But I really think that had a bigger factor in the transition from really us not transitioning out of the new style that we had to run quickly enough. I thought was a factor, and we kept hoping that he could come back, but it really took him. I think it was, I don't know, 8 or 9 weeks anyway. Before we really, I think the Tampa game, whatever week that was, it was about that time. So.
How would you assess the year Jimmy Graham's had and how he's fit into the offense?
I think he's had a terrific season. He's had a terrific season. He's made big plays throughout the year. We've been able to go to him in crucial situations. His highlight film for this season is extraordinary. And you go all the way back to the Jets games when he had those unbelievable catches and he scored touchdowns and all. He's getting close to 1,000 yards, catching and so I think he's had a fantastic year. We always could get more, and get more balls, and have a bigger year. But he's been a great asset to us, and I think we've noted the connection that's been made between him and Russell. It's obviously come to life for us, and so we have a big factor in Jimmy, and hopefully from this point forward, he could be this game, he catch 8 or 9 balls, and he could be the difference in the game again. So. A huge play last week, and it's what he's capable of.
How's he grown as a blocker this year?
Tremendously. I don't know how much you guys have noticed that, but he has been a great perimeter blocker for us. He just kind of embraced the whole concept of getting after on the line of scrimmage, and much better than last year, and I think better by far than years past. He's a force, and he's had a ton of highlight blocks and plays and stuff. He's such a great body. The wingspan is so big, and he's so powerful that he's now applied it, and it's really been he's been a big asset to us. He's really become a complete player.
Do you play this game
Sunday with a run game?
We expect to run football. We're going for it, and we need to get the ball moving on the ground. We definitely want to do that.
regardless of the seedings and whether you have a bye or not, do you have to play this game through just to get right? Is that your approach here?
We don't do anything ever any different than that ever. So every game is huge to us to get there, match up, get right, play well, and try to build on that. It really doesn't adjust no matter what's going on. So somebody asked me on the other news conference, is somebody going to be reporting to me the score of the other game? I don't care about that. I really don't. I'll get in the locker room. There'll be plenty of time to figure out that, or somebody will throw it on the board. I don't care. We're going to go play football the way we want to play and take care of our business, because it isn't really about the other stuff. That just comes to you when the time's right.
Going back to Steve's question, how have the Niners changed from the first time you played them?
The big change is at quarterback, for sure. And Colin has looked really, really effective. And he's back to playing comfortably, and running and throwing and scrambling and doing all that stuff. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. He's got a pretty good passer rating. Touchdowns to interceptions is really good and all that stuff. So he's that threat again, that he's been in the past. And with the offense that they run, where there's a lot of options in there for him to take it, it fits very well. So I think that's the biggest obvious note. They've got a couple guys that are banged up that they've lost. Offensive line is playing really good, and they run the ball formidably throughout the season, and 130 something a game. So they're able to do that. So. But that's what catches my attention, is that Colin is back doing the stuff that he knows how to do, and he really looks effective.
How close do you feel you guys are to being where you want to be, or do you really not know yet?
I don't know that. I don't know. Well, we've shown all kinds of stuff. Let's play like we played in the second half, on offense, and let's play. There's all kinds of spots. It's been the last month we haven't been as consistent as I would like. We would normally expect us to be on top of this thing in the final month of the season. So this is an important game to finish on a good note. I can't. Not remember that back in 2013, we were 2-2 in this month also, and we had to win the last game for all kinds of stuff. And I feel like that's very similar. It's a very similar situation that we're in. And so we'll see if we can take care of business.
It seemed like Jermaine Ifedi was making some strides at the beginning of the year and getting more consistent. Maybe he had a couple of rough weeks the last couple of weeks. I guess, how would you evaluate his progression?
He as a young guy does, he has had some back and forth with his level of his play. He's got tremendous upside still. he's been very physical. He's done those things, but there's still a lot of things happening to him that he'll get way better at. He'll improve, and so. It's been a great year for him. I mean, when he goes from year 1 to year 2, the change is going to be enormous for him, and as it always is for these guys. And I think we're going to have a heck of a player. I'd really like to see him settle down and just play really good, solid ball this last run of the season here, see if he can't really help us in that regard.
Does Steven Terrell continue to start at that spot, or is
Yes.
it?
Pete, how much value do you place in getting the bye in the first round of the playoffs?
Well, it's valuable, it's valuable, and numbers show that it's valuable. It doesn't mean that you can't do a lot of damage here in the playoffs without it, but it is valuable. The numbers really support that.
You've had more issues in the kicking game this year than I think you'd like. Just what have you seen from the trio of guys working there and the missed kicks, the block kicks, the snaps, and those?
Yeah, well, this last game really makes that jump to the front, and it's really the Cardinal game. Both games were problematic for us, and real unfortunate miscue on the punt that got blocked. The gentlemen were great at that, but there's been a couple things, and it hasn't been as clean. We've had a lot of really good play in general in all of the coverage and other stuff that we've done, but it's been a little messy there. Certainly last week was bad.
You said, excuse me, you said Monday Ataba Rubin had a wrist issue. Is he going to be able to play through that?
Sprained his wrist. He's practicing today. Yeah.
With the offensive line, what kind of input does Tom Cable have when you're looking at the draft and free agents and that kind of thing about what guys you bring in here?
He plays a role. The coaches have an evaluation process that we do that is part of the process. We ask for his expertise at times in certain situations, more so than others. But he's involved like all of our coaches are. But they have their part of it, and then it gets turned into the personnel side of it. They don't have the final say on what's going on, and they don't pick the players.
How would you kind of describe the O-line's progression the whole year? Like where they started, how it's kind of grown together, the mix?
Well, I think we've made considerable progress, but we've also shown the newness. I think it's best understood to see how young they are and realize that they've been up and down a little bit. And we have two first-year rookie starters and a first-time starter in Glow, and it's just been and a moved position for Britt, who's done a marvelous job. But it's just a lot of growth to expect, and it's also, you can understand why sometimes we've had setbacks, and so we just have to just live with our guys and keep competing and keep battling and growing, and hopefully we can settle into a real nice, we're going to need to settle into a real nice mode here to finish this thing off right, and they're capable of doing that. It was a fantastic second half for these guys last week and the week before that, and we've had some really good games. That's the play that we're going to count on.
How do you like the role Reese Odiambo sort of worked into the last couple of weeks?
He's done a nice job. He's shown a lot of flexibility, and we're playing him on left side, right side. He can play both guards and both tackles, and he's played the big tight end spot for us. So, really nice role for him to position himself to compete like crazy in the offseason in camp next year, to start. So, and the versatility is totally in his favor.
Having seen him for a year now, where do you see him moving forward, best position-wise?
I don't know. It depends. I don't have any restrictions on him right now. I think he does everything pretty much pretty well. He's more comfortable on the left side, and just because he's played most of his time there.
I think when we looked at this rookie class, and particularly the draft guys, what we said, they're set up for a big impact here. I guess, how would you assess their impact throughout the season?
Well, they have had a big impact, and frustratingly, they could have been much more so. CJ not being able to stay out there for sure. That's a big deal because he would have been right in the middle of everything. To have Jaron Reed play all year long and starting, and Fetty starting, and knowing that Nick Vanette can help us, it's just a really good group, and so I think in the next couple of years they're going to be a big factor. I think this class is going to be a big factor moving forward. I think we like every guy that came to us. Looks like they can contribute and play a lot.
You mentioned Monday that the offensive line was in the first half was lunging on occasion. What causes that? Is that just being overamped?
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, and it's usually over trying too hard. Trying to go get guys and make sure that they're physical and aggressive, and that can get you out of whack. So.
Anything else? Thank you.